What's happening there, Reject Nation? Thanks for clicking on it there. We're gonna watch two things from Venom, Let There Be Carnage today, but before I go into that, got a couple of things to say. One, we are gonna watch Venom this week, so keep a lookout for our immediate reaction coming out of the theater. We're gonna talk at the theater like how we normally do. Two, heard all them requests come in. We're gonna be covering Squidward this week.
Yes.
Squid Game this week. Very excited to check it out. We know nothing about it going in blind. I mean, yeah, harass us enough into thousands. So I guess we're gonna do it. So we're gonna watch two things today. Well, first one is a 30-second TV spot, Venom Nightclub, all right? And the second one is Kletus breaking out of prison or something. I just dropped them both in iMovie, so we're gonna watch them in one go. Bingo.
Oh god.
Could be Carnage. Bet your ass.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this. Oh, dude.
No.
Oh, dude.
Wow.
Oh, no. Look how badass this looks. Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nice.
I've heard this movie is weird. That's all I'm gonna say of what I've heard so far. There's like a special screening and then there's a premiere tonight to which many of our colleagues have been invited to and are going. One is alone. Yeah, so I've heard it's weird. I've heard it's fun. Yeah, so like looking at this footage here, like him at the nightclub, I'm a little bit more prepped for things like that. It seems like Venom really wants to be living in the spotlight here. And I love like the tension that scene brought in just that 30 seconds alone. But damn, the effects look so damn good on Carnage. They look incredible. I read Maximum Carnage over the weekend, the whole series issues. It is cool to like look at the trailers and then look here and being like, oh yeah, there are some like, there's obviously some changes, of course. I mean, just right down to when Kletus first gets symbiote and how he breaks out, but like the breakout and prison scene is in line with the comics for the most part. To see like the parallels of what is being brought from that comic and into here, mainly, I know it's like borrowing from several elements, especially like the Venom hero run by the time he became a hero in San Francisco, because they totally skipped over Venom being a villain in this franchise. Yeah, I want to see some more Shriek, but what we've been getting so far, I mean, this looks pretty cool. I mean, I love the effects. I just love the effects. And you know, some people think like I might be just a little too silly. I'm like, whatever, man. The first one was silly, and I'm all for just an entertaining time. Like my expectations for what Venom Let There Be Carnage needs to be versus what Spider-Man No Way Home needs to be are very different levels. I wouldn't put them on the same pedestal.
I think you should.
I think I ought to.
That's what they're designed for.
At some point, we're going to have
They're both going for the same thing.
When they do crossover eventually, that's when I'll put them on the same pedestal. But for now, I'm like, hey, I'm just excited to see Carnage brought to life, and I hope he does wreak mayhem everywhere.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I loved the tone of that clip with him breaking out. I mean, it seems like even though it is billed as a clip, it's still been heavily cut down.
Of course.
But you know, just yeah, the back and forth of the suspense and playing up the whole thing with the silhouette in the fog and everybody in the gallery sort of freaking out and everything. Like, I'm fascinated as to see what this movie's actually going to become, because yeah, the few things I've heard are along those lines of like, yeah, it's really strange. I don't even quite know how I feel about it yet. And I like that prospect going into a movie like this, because it gives me at least the hope that we might see something new, fresh, maybe a little off the beaten path, and that's probably going to deliver on at least the pulp that you want out of this.
Well, I mean, even like looking at the comic over the weekend, and granted, it's just one run that I really committed to absorbing in a couple of days. Venom and Kletus, there is something goofy and campy about them and their dialogue and the amount of like exposition and the overabundance of just like childlike maniacal behavior that they both sort of have. I feel like tonally when you're telling me weird and like Venom going to the nightclub presenting this like narcissistic quality, like to me it's spiritually sort of in line. You know, maybe not 100%. I haven't read a comic where he goes to a nightclub and is like, yeah, let's party. I haven't seen something like that, but there are qualities here that I'm like, I could see where they got inspired from there to adapt it here to the big screen. So I don't know, you know. I'm expecting like a B movie. Yeah. Like a high quality B movie.
Yeah, like a really fun schlocky movie, because I think that also helps to take the edge off of the fact that it's not going to be rated R and it's not going to be as like nasty as maybe you could get in a more serious fashion with these characters. If you're in the PG-13 realm especially, I think leaning in to some of that humor and some of that camp actually does help.
Yeah, and I also think that the effects just look so much more visceral, and I feel like it'll be memorable. You know, that's like an important thing, is that the fight scenes were not memorable in the last one.
No.
And like more of the comedic bits were more memorable than the fight scenes, and one thing that I keep having to take away with this is, damn, the effects look so good here.
Yeah.
Like Venom looks like a real monster.
He does, he really does, and like that's what makes me
Carnage.
Well, they both do, but yeah, especially Carnage. Like Carnage looks especially vicious, and even just like the personality they're giving his various tendrils and things, like it really does feel, yeah, visceral is the perfect word, like really monstrous and menacing and nasty. And so, you know, you still pick up some of that harsh sort of horror tone, even though, you know, it is offset by like Venom's at the club and everyone's like, cool costume, bro.
I will say though that I often have expectations and I like set myself. I'll often I know this happens to me quite a bit. I'll do these trailer reactions and I'll be like, here's just what I'm expecting, I'll be satisfied. And then I watch the actual movie and I'm like, you know, I got a lot of problems with this movie. It's about what I expected. It's about what I expected, but I got a lot of issues with it. I often find myself in that camp. What I don't think we've heard yet is what Carnage's voice is gonna sound like. And I'm very curious to hear that. I did hear an interview with Woody Harrelson where he was talking extensively about how he was trying to get Andy Serkis to do the voice for Carnage instead of him, but Serkis insisted that it was him who does it. So I have no idea what Carnage's voice is going to sound like, but I love how the trailers kind of kept that out of it and leaving it to be a surprise for the audience. So we'll see. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in today. Sure, we got more vids coming your way.
No, that's it.
We did like 7 videos in a row that were not Spider-Man related.
Yeah, count them up.
Take it.
Go to the videos list. Proof.
Subscribe. Hit that bell. Look out for our Squiddy World reactions. And catch you guys soon.